Hi everybody, Mental Health Monday. So today we're going to talk about the process of changing your mindset, which could be a very difficult task. The first step to a growth mindset, which is one that we want, is kind of changing the way that we think. So if you find yourself thinking or having thoughts that like, this is impossible, you hate this, this is too hard, I can't do this, any of those types of things, if those sound familiar, remember that our brains think 70,000 thoughts a day, and many of those times are going to be negative. You may have more negative than positive thoughts. And learning to reframe our thoughts positively is the first step to changing our mindset and self-improvement. So some activities to try when moving into a growth mindset is self-exploration, identifying mindset. So that is identifying your personal problem patterns and how you might change them. Create examples of how each mindset is holding you back and how changing them can be applied in your everyday life, and then kind of write them out as goals. Taking action. So once you have a goal, you want to actually do something about it. Starting something new is the hardest step. We like our patterns, so stepping out of our comfort zone is important to growth. Trying things you've never considered before is a great way to change kind of a stuck mindset. And then you're going to want to reflect on that because it's important. Reflection is super important. Journaling is super important. All of those good things. So negative patterns and kind of ways to reframe them. So we have stewing. So this is dwelling on a negative thought or event and then repeating that kind of over and over again in our mind. That's going to cause us to forget all of the positives in every single situation. So to change this behavior, you want to recognize when you're stuck on a negative thought and then intentionally stop yourself and replace that thought with a positive one. Then we have magnifying. So sometimes we have a habit of making more out of a situation than it needs to be. It's making a mountain out of a molehill. I'm sure we've all heard that before. Overreacting is something that's very, very common. It can happen when we're also really overwhelmed with everything. And one way to get over the magnifying is focusing on our big picture. You know, we need to move on and realize that not everything needs to be a mountain that we need to climb. It's just like, okay, this is a thing. I got to do it. All right, cool. The all or nothing is another negative thought pattern. So sometimes it's difficult to see gray areas in situations, and everything is either 100% right or 100% wrong, a complete success or a complete failure. And as humans, this is rarely the case. We kind of live in the gray area all the time. So learning to be flexible is key to alleviating this behavior and moving forward towards a growth mindset. Then we've got assuming. So we all know what assuming is. We can assume that we know the outcome of a situation before it happens, or that we know what someone else is thinking, and then we kind of react based off of those assumptions. We're not mind readers, remember that, and frequently we're wrong about what's going on, and it's okay to recognize that. If you're going to assume, make sure that you're assuming the positives. You're not assuming the negative. You're not assuming someone's talking bad about you behind your back. You're assuming, oh, you know what? They're hyping me up, you know? You want to assume the other person is thinking positively about you. Choosing, again, that growth mindset means that you're more likely to get the outcome that you're wanting. And then we have personalization. This is a big one for a lot of us. So humans are ego-driven. We think everything happening around us is happening because of us. Like, it's like, why me? That type of thing. But that's not really the reality. And it can be a very unhealthy mindset to kind of get stuck in. We blame ourselves for others' actions or assume things happen for reasons that they don't. And this can cause a lot of conflict when there isn't any. Remembering that things happen near you don't necessarily have anything to do with you is the key to overcoming that habit. So now we want to get into that more growth mindset. So here are some tips to try. You want to believe in yourself. Remind yourself daily how awesome you are. Empower yourself. Remind yourself you always have choices, because you do. Believe in the impossible. Look for the good. So remind yourself to reframe situations by using some of those tools that I talked about earlier. And you want to try and live in the moment as much as you can. Life is a journey. Enjoy the ride, not just the beginning and the end. There's going to be good, bad, not great, okay, content parts of life. Leave behind doubt. Remind yourself to change the what ifs to the best thing that can happen is. We're reframing that mindset. And be uniquely you. You got to stay authentic to your true self. Being grateful is another one. Remind yourself to stop focusing on what you don't have and shift for being grateful for what you do have. Again, all different things that you can try to help bring you into that growth mindset. So try some of those out and see how it goes.